Hey everyone, it is Rachel and I am here with another process video. I don't have an introduction, so I am just showing you the sketch I'm working with. As I've mentioned many times before, I am working along with some women on a message board. These sketches from Scrapbook Generation, from an online magazine they had. This is going to be a double page layout. I am going to stick sort of close to the layout. I'm only going to use one 4x6 photo on the right hand side, and in the sketch the cluster of photos on the left hand page runs over onto the right hand page, and I'm not going to do that. I am going to bite the bullet right away and go ahead and use that speech bubble paper. For those of you who don't know, I am not a big fan of the speech bubble, but I'm going to make it work with this particular layout. We're talking about a trip to a big fall fair in New England. It's called the Big E, and I know, out in the Midwest and everything like that, they have state fairs. This is kind of like a state fair, except it's for all of New England. So, I'm like, you know what, if I'm going to use speech bubbles, I'm going to use speech bubbles. So I cut apart this 4x6 one with the big speech bubble for journaling, and I'm going to use that as well. Because like I said, if I'm going to use a speech bubble, I'm going to go big or go home. So I'm going to use the heck out of some speech bubbles on this particular layout and just go for it. And I actually end up liking it in the end. It's just obviously not something I would necessarily go for. So what I'm trying to do now is work it out so that these 3x4 cards and these 3x4 photos and then the 4x6 cut apart all wind up basically making a square. So I'm trying to get it so that they'll all fit. I'm going to trim down this one with the cameras as well, and because what I had before would only fit with a very narrow strip, and I knew if I was going to add some embellishments in order to make it square, it would have to be a little bit thicker space than what originally I had. So now what I'm doing is I am poking through the papers. I know there's a cut apart that has strips, and I was wondering perhaps if one of those would work. And then I was thinking about, did I really want to use the speech bubble paper? And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to cut a chunk of that, and then I see the back side of that is the yellow, mustardy yellow paper with the hearts on it, and I thought that might be really cute for my left hand side of my layout. And then I see this paper with the A to Z on it, and I notice that my title, part of my title, which will be the Big E, all of the letters for Big E are the same size. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of perfect. So I'm going to cut these apart and use the B, I, G, and E. Part of me is like, oh, I kind of wish the E was bigger. But, needs must and all that. And next I'm going to cut a chunk of this optical illusion-y, could be hexagons, could be cubes paper, and then I'm also going to grab a couple of branding strips. And so I have that yellow one, and I'm going to grab this. This actually isn't a branding strip, it's a strip from one of the cut apart sheets, and I'm going ahead and trimming up the little parts. And I realize now, I forgot to tell you, I am working with Shimelle's Glitter Girl. This was part of my October 2017 Clique Kit. So I am super happy with this particular line. It's so pretty, and it's, even though it's called Glitter Girl and it's got a bunch of pinks in it, it really is quite usable for more than that. As I said, I'm using it right now for a fall fair layout. I'm going to ink up all of my papers with Distress ink in Black Soot, and so this heart paper, the yellow mustardy one with the black hearts on it, that is what I'm going to use behind my photo collage on the left hand side. And I'm just going through, and anything that is paper I am going ahead and inking up for a little bit of shadow and contrast against my white cardstock background. So what I did with this particular layout was stick pretty close to the original sketch, as I mentioned. The only thing I'm going to be doing slightly different, as I said, is I'm moving my photo collage all the way over to my left-hand side paper, and then I'm going to run my title all the way down the right hand side of my photo, of that 4x6 photo that's on the right hand paper. I'm going to mat that with this color block paper that I've already taken a chunk out of. So, you know, I think the obvious way to use this particular paper is either to cut out the color blocks or just to use the whole thing as a background and then be able to do a light embellishment. But I had already cut a chunk out of it, so I'm like, heck, why not go ahead and just use it as a mat? And then what it does is it allows all of those colors to be there on the mat without it being in actual pattern. And to my eye, it almost looked like I had photo corners with that navy and that wood grain, since I was offsetting the photo. And now you'll see I'm going to go ahead and ink up all of those cut apart letters, and then I'm going to have those run down the right hand side of the photo, and they're going to become part of my title. So I like the way this is looking, so I'm going to go ahead and get the papers on my right hand side page glued down. So this is my first layer, which is the two larger pieces, and then I'm going to intermix those with a couple of the branding strips and a piece of the strip of the cut aparts that are longer strips as opposed to the 3x4s and 4x6s. Now that star paper I had cut a little short, so I ended up splitting it in half, and that way what I'll do is I'll have it just come off the top and the bottom of my photo. So I trimmed that pink piece in half lengthwise. My idea is to have part of it over as part of the banner strips in the original sketch on the right hand page, and then also to border the collage piece on the right hand page. So I'm just trimming the pink and the yellow so they don't run the full 12x12. Instead, they're a little bit shorter than the full piece. And then I'm going to use that black floral piece you see on the lower left-hand side of the video right now. I'm going to use that in conjunction with the pink strip to border the collage, and then I'm going to take that floral piece, I believe, and border something over on the right-hand side just to kind of meld the two pieces of paper. So I'm gluing these branding strips and border strippy type things behind the paper in basically the most complicated way possible I could make it. So once I get them glued to the back of my photo block, I'm going to go ahead and get them glued to the back of my paper because, you know, let's not bother doing things the easy way. Let's take the most possible amount of time you can. And I do remember to ink up the edges, so, you know, yay me. So here's where I'm bringing that black floral piece over to the right hand page, and then I'm going to use another piece of that over on the left hand side as well, just to, as I said, bring the dark floral piece to both sides of the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and get the paper portion of my title done, and apparently I've gone to do something else that I don't know what it was, but it possibly was important. Who knows? Once I get these down, I know I want to use, I'm thinking about popping that E up on some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, but I don't know if I want to do that, and I decided, you know, no, I'm just going to have it go, because both the G and the E are pink, so I considered it for a minute, but I didn't want to do that because my plan is to have something kind of go over the E, and I didn't want to mess that up. So if I'd had my druthers, that E would have been larger, but you can't have everything. I'm going ahead and starting to work on the left-hand part of my two-page layout. I get that hot pink piece laid down on the right-hand side of the left page, and then I am just going to butt that up with this yellow and with the black hearts, and I got it down straight on the first try, people. What? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. I'm then going to use the other half of that floral piece, and all my pieces that I've lined up to dry from my edging, or to just that I've put out of the way, are all falling down on me because that's how awesome I am. And now I'm just putting my photos and my cut aparts back, trying to get them to where they're equidistant-ish, but where I'll be able to embellish in between the parts where they don't obviously all butt up next to each other. So right now what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and get that spot where my journaling will go, and I cannot believe how many speech bubbles I got on this page, considering I'm not really a speech bubble aficionado. But like I said, you know, it was crazy busy at the Big E. You know, we were there with a lot of people, so in my brain it worked out because there was a lot of chatting going on, and as I mentioned, not my favorite shape to go with, but I'm gonna go with it. I don't dislike it. I'll go with that. And I'm like, and I know there are people who are like, well, if you don't like them, why do you bother using them? And I'm like, it's not so much that I don't like them, but I don't have a problem using them if they make sense to my head. I'm not necessarily one for just throwing something on for no reason, but then again, I don't necessarily have an issue throwing a pineapple on a page if it makes sense in my brain. If it has to do with summertime, if it has to do with tropical, if it has to do with welcoming someone. So in this case, because there's a lot of people there and there's a lot of chatter going on, it made sense to my brain to use that. Now, moving on to the actual layout, above that photo on the top left-hand side, I put 3 squares. Those are washi stickers, so you can semi-see through to beneath them. And then I pick that arrow sticker. That is not a washi, that is a regular sticker. And now I'm going through, that came from the sticker folder that did not come in the kit. It was a separate purchase I made to go along with my kit that I made from the Clique Kit store. The rest of these embellishments all came in the kit. The die cuts, the 6x12 stickers, the... what else? I don't remember now. But that unicorn sticker came in the kit, and that says, "May all your dreams come true." That holographic arrow sticker says, "Oh so cool." And now I am adding a couple of word stickers, one that says awesome and one that says shine bright, and then several over on that left-hand photo saying be fearless, amazing, and today rocks. I don't know if you can tell what that photo is, but my nephew and I went on the giant slide. It was super fun. And then down on that third photo down there, I'm putting love this, cooler than unicorns, and magical. That was, they have a kitchen there, and they have, every year, they have giant cream puffs and giant eclairs, and our group shared an eclair. So now I'm starting to pull some of the die cuts, those open stars, as well as those sunglasses, which are actually going to become part of my title. I also pull out that camera, and that's the one where if it goes back and forth, the word snap appears and disappears. So I am finishing off my title. I'm going to grab those little tile stickers, and those are a pink holographic, and I'm going to put the word the up above the B there, and then I'm going to tape down the sunglasses. So my entire title is The Big E is Super Cool, Fabulous, Fun. So I'm going to use some more of those tile stickers for the word is, and then I'm going to pull out the word fabulous out of these teal glitter scripty font alphas that came with the kit. I want to fit so that the top portion of the L or the B is in between the glasses, but it's not going to work out without me covering up the word. So instead I took the top of the S there, and then I am going to finish off with some more of those tile stickers with the word fun. So once I was trying to figure out whether I could make the word fun with some of the non-scripty letters as part of those font, but I didn't want the 2 green words down there, and I didn't want to add another font, so I just decided to go with those pink tile stickers. Now I'm going to add this little air puff sticker, and it's clear plastic over the top, and it says "You are super," and it's another speech bubble. I figured I might as well try to get as much of them on this page as I can. And I also add that black camera, and that is from Freckled Fawn. That's another thing I purchased separately, as well as this mixed embellishment set, and this is something I purchased separately, and actually I got this at Paper Issues, not the Clique Kit store. So I'm adding some enamel dots in 3 of my embellishment cluster areas. I also added some of the stars from the alpha, that teal glitter alpha that came in the kit. I am doing some cleanup because I'm not because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing some cleanup because my plan is to, after I do my journaling, I'm going to add some mist in shimmers After Dawn, Before Dawn, After Dark. It's something like that. It's blackish. It's like a gray black. Anyway, my journaling is just about us deciding to go to the Big E. We hadn't been in several years, and how we ate, shopped, and then ate some more our way through the fair. It was actually a cloudy, cool day, which was nice because the weekend following that, it was like 90+ degrees, so we were super happy we didn't go then. I should say we went on a Monday because if you do go to the Big E, weekends there are insane. Now I add the date using that same pink font, which is cool because it brings it over to the left-hand page, which just, helps create another triangle, which, awesome. And now I am almost complete. I believe I'm getting my mist right now because I don't think there's anything else I did to this page besides the mist. But apparently, I'm still, I'm debating as to whether I want to put the mist on. And I'm like, I really do want to bring some black out. So I go ahead and get it out, and now I'm going to speckle 3 areas and be all set. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. If you could flip me a thumbs up, that would be super awesome. If you have a question, just leave a comment and I would be perfectly happy to answer that for you. Thanks so much, guys. Bye!